Hey everyone, this is Aaron Fink from Grapple City Rewind. Just wanted to remind you, you can give us a call at 626-657-SLAM. You can cut a promo on us. You can tell us how much you hate the show, how much you love the show. You can tell us the next pay-per-view that you think we should watch. You could watch a pay-per-view along with us and tell us what you thought of it. Whatever you want. We just want to hear from the Grapple Gang. That's you. So without any further ado, let's cue that music.
Hello, and welcome to Grapple City Rewind, taking you all the way back to the iconic pay-per-views and television specials that shaped professional wrestling history. This week, we're going back to November 2002, a little more Ruthless Aggression era, to talk about Survivor Series of that year. We're going to talk about Eric Bischoff and how great he feels about himself, the introduction of the Elimination Chamber, women randomly making out on screen every once in a while for no apparent reason, and Saliva playing their hit single as many times as humanly possible in 3 hours. Butt rock, alt rock, rap rock, everything your little heart has ever desired for Aaron to pay me back for watching Clowns Are Us versus the Royal Family last week. I'm Bradley Palermo, as always, here with, as always, Aaron Fink. And Aaron, before we get into the 2002 Survivor Series, let's talk a little bit of current product. The first thing that comes to my mind, and it maybe isn't the first thing on everyone's mind, but after all the buildup of Matt Cardona on the Indies for the past 5 years, and we're just thinking, and his wife gets on WWE, and we're wondering when he comes back to WWE, like, how is it going to be? What's going to happen? How is this going to, rebranding himself going to pay off? And then he comes back as Zack Ryder and he loses to LA Knight. Do you feel like that was a little bit anticlimactic?
I guess so. I mean, it certainly wasn't who we thought that surprise was going to be, or maybe not who I thought it was going to be. I was kind of riding the Joe Hendry train.
Right, me too, yeah.
But I was definitely surprised. I was also surprised that, that they called him Zack Ryder and Matt Cardona. I actually think I saw a clip of an interview with Chris Van Vliet on my Instagram this morning where Chris was like, so you if you get the call, like, what do you want to come back as? And he's like, honestly, I don't care. I got knee pads for both ready. he's such a like a businessman, like
Right.
Very smart and thinks things through. He's like, obviously I would prefer Matt Cardona because it's what I've made a name for, or made a name with on the indies the last few years. And in his opinion, he felt like WWE clearly didn't want Zack Ryder because they fired Zack Ryder.
Right.
But yeah, it was surprising. I guess it was a little anticlimactic, especially because now I'm reading that he isn't even re-signed, that might have just been a one-off.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously people were excited to see him. He didn't get the biggest pop I've ever heard, but he got a good reaction and the crowd liked to chant woo during the match. But yeah, I guess a little disappointing. I mean, if you think about it, once you know it's him, it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't win because LA Knight is a bit more important to the WWE than
Right.
Cardona
but
is.
You just put him on something else, not this.
Yeah,
to lose
I guess.
in a tournament to fight John Cena, whatever.
I mean, I guess Cena and Ryder did have history. I think they were a tag team for a minute, and then they had like a feud at some point. So it kind of makes sense. I remember Cena even called out Cardona in his Pipe Bomb 2.0 promo earlier in the year.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So it makes sense, but yeah, it was underwhelming. I mean, I was happy for him and I enjoyed the match for what it was, but yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I want surprises to be really exciting, not just like kind of exciting.
Yeah, I just felt like I was waiting for the moment for him to come back, and I thought maybe it would be like a really cool redemption story. I just thought losing the first match of a tournament situation was kind of anticlimactic. But I
Yeah.
heard Sheamus on Busted Open this week on the network. I don't know which specific show, but he had a pretty compelling argument why he wants to win and the tournament and face
Okay.
John Cena for his final match. And normally I think of Sheamus as kind of just a guy that's been around forever and the kind of like a mid-card banger guy, just entertain
Yeah.
you in the middle of the event, but nothing spectacular. But he's had all the titles except
Mm-hmm.
for the Intercontinental title. He's always chasing the IC title.
Oh, that's right.
And he does have a long history of beating Cena. So obviously he has the physicality. He says John Cena's, trying to go light. He definitely doesn't want a Sheamus match. That's going to be too rough. And, he had his argument.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny when you listen to an interview with someone because you're like, well, I didn't really see Sheamus as a possibility. But when I heard him talk, I was like, okay, you have a good argument. Like, I kind of want to. I can't think of who else is really in there right now that I want to see, but I was surprised that Sheamus kind of turned me as like pro Sheamus on this thing.
Yeah, he would be okay. I mean, Sheamus and Cena as Cena's last match maybe doesn't make a ton of sense to me. My guess at this point is that it's going to be somebody young who still has a bit to go in their career. And I'm pretty sure that there's still a match on Raw where we don't know one of the competitors. So
Okay.
my guess is that ends up being a younger person, whether that's like a Braun Breaker or a Dom Mysterio. Oh, I guess we could talk about, Mysterio versus Cena from Raw. That was a pleasant surprise. And Cena is now a Grand Slam champion for the first time in his career. That was pretty wild. What a crowd, too.
We haven't spoken since then?
Yeah, no, it was the day after we spoke. It was the Monday Night Raw in Boston.
Oh, shit. Yeah. And are we potentially having a Cena Dom rematch for the IC belt back at
Maybe like through the title or through the tournament. I mean, like that's an interesting theory, at least.
Survivor Series?
Oh, well, that too. Yeah. I still feel like Cena's going to be a part of the Survivor Series team now and that's another thing that we were talking about and that we got some clarity on. So it's Punk, Cody, Jimmy, and Jay. There's going to be a fifth person. Maybe the fifth person is Roman. I guess that would, you think so?
I think so. Well, I think that you need to have the guy from 619, Mysterio from San Diego at the San Diego Survivor Series in a singles match. What better way than to have him fight John Cena and take his title back that John Cena doesn't really need right now?
That's true.
But I don't know. I mean, I listen to people pitch these things and sometimes I start to believe they're real. And then I realize it's not announced and we're only 2 weeks out from Survivor Series. We don't really know.
Yeah.
Who's on there, but nah.
There was actually a bunch of good current product stuff. There were a lot of things on Raw that were fun. Obviously, the Cena Dom stuff and the fact that they were in Boston was exciting. Us finding out the two War Games matches, or at least the beginnings of them, with Team Punk against Team Vision, and then Rhea and her gals against Nia, Lash, and the Kabuki Warriors. So
yeah, they're pretending like Charlotte's not going to be on the team. They always do that. They pretend like someone's not going to be on the team that's obviously going to be on the team.
I just can't. I can't put my bullshit aside.
Some of the girls' dialogue is rough. The acting with the women is sometimes just like the dumbest lines, but it's a really good women's division regardless. So the match will be good. What do you think about switching to AEW Full Gear's coming up this weekend? And
yeah,
they always have a ton of matches, and I haven't looked at the entire card, but so Mercedes Moné now has 13 titles, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Ultimo Moné.
And she's going for the AEW women's title against Chris Statlander. And I'm just thinking, like, first of all, who do you think's going to win? And second, once this unravels and Mercedes loses this gimmick of collecting indie titles, she has to go back to 12 different like shit towns and just lose over and over and over. Like she has to drop the belt back.
Yeah.
So it's going to take, a good, how many weekends does it take? 3 months of like every Saturday? Like what the fuck? Like how are they going to get these titles back? And is she going to win the women's world title?
I think she might. I would. At this point, I don't think it makes sense for her not to win because
Yeah.
if you're gonna do this gimmick, you might as well do it all the way. I'm kind of bummed that that means that Statlander won't have a very lengthy title reign,
Right.
but it makes the most sense. And then, yeah, like as far as Mercedes eventually dropping everything, that's going to be pretty wild because most of them are not even in the country. Like they're like Polish and Germany and the Netherlands and UK and all these different, like she's going to just go to Europe for like a month and then
Just
just drop them all.
drop them all to someone who's just doing this as like a side gig on the weekends. You know, you have to lose back to all these like indie fools. And
Yeah.
I think that's pretty funny. It's like, I think at one time, didn't FTR have, well, it was only like 3 titles or something, but it was
Yeah,
like
they had the AEW, the Ring of Honor, and the IWGP,
a
I
AAA
think.
too, I believe. At one
Oh
point.
yeah, no, yeah, that you're right. Yeah, they had a good amount at once. I don't know,
But when they lost the AEW title, then they went
and
to
lost everything
and
else.
went
Yeah,
to everybody and got booked
yeah.
to lose. And I just think it's cool to get booked to lose like okay, I gotta lose like 3 of these titles. But
She's gonna have to lose
13?
12
And
times. Yeah,
not, I mean, she has 13. One of them's a TBS, so it's just at least you can be on your own company for that one. But
she's got a Ring of Honor one too. I'm pretty
oh,
sure.
okay. So a few of them you can just lose going to work, but
Yeah,
those Ireland ones or whatever the fuck she's doing that's
she's gonna
funny.
have to make a journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you what'd you think of the women's blood and guts match? I thought that was pretty fun.
That was really good. I didn't really need a men's blood and guts match after I
For
watched
that, yeah.
AEW women's blood and guts match. That was
I
plenty.
agree.
It's probably the best thing on the show's long, but it was good. And they a few years ago they had nothing to really write home about by way of like women's division. But now
They're stacked.
they have a really good women's division. Yeah, they
Yeah.
are stacked. And the only thing I didn't really love was I don't feel like you should put your world champion in a 10-person match. I think you should save
Mhm.
your champion. Like she should have saved Chris as like, no, like I decide, like I defend this title. I'm not going to go
Yeah,
get injured with all these other jabronis.
I agree.
But they put the champion right in there, and I feel like that kind of diminishes her run a little bit. But other than that, the shit, it was just a lot of attacks, a lot of blood, a lot of shenanigans. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I liked how they had feuds inside of the match. Like obviously Statlander was there because Mercedes was on the other team, and then like Jamie Hayter was in there because she's been feuding with the Triangle of Madness, and so like everybody had their little trifles going on, and I thought it ended up making for a really entertaining match. And I also enjoyed that the end of it actually like had a little bit of emotion and like a little bit of story essentially. If you've been paying attention, you know that Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa have been good friends and sometimes they like to make out for a minute and whatever. But so
They're in a relationship on the
are they?
in AEW, I believe. I think they're together. Thought
I don't know. Who's to say?
they were like married. I think she calls her wife on camera. She's Tony is married to Juice Robinson in real life,
Yes,
but
which I think is kind of hilarious because if Juice is anything like he is in AEW in real life, it's probably a crazy marriage that those two have.
that's a funny couple of people, yeah, to put
Yeah.
together.
So yeah, I just liked that at the end, it was just like it was very sports entertainment-y. Like, your best friend getting the shit kicked out of her, like by being whipped with a giant championship belt and you having to watch and quitting that way. It felt like
Yeah.
a Dusty Rhodes kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a creative way to finish it.
Yeah. So lots of good current product stuff.
And now it's time for the rewind.
All right, we're here to talk about WWE Survivor Series 2002 in Madison Square Garden. We have Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler as the Raw commentators. We have Michael Cole and Taz as the SmackDown commentators. And let's see, the attendance 17,930. Nice big crowd. And as Brad mentioned, the Attitude Era is over. This is the period of time referred to as the Ruthless Aggression era. For those of you that follow us episode to episode, this is just a month after No Mercy 2002, which we covered in episode 24. And while there aren't exactly feuds from that pay-per-view bleeding over into this, continuing directly, there is a very natural progression in what's happening from that show to this one. So the first match of the evening was a elimination tables match with Jeff Hardy teaming with Bubba Ray and Spike Dudley against 3 Minute Warning, who is comprised of Rosie and Jamal. Rosie is Roman Reigns' brother, who unfortunately passed away. And then Jamal is also known as Umaga, who has also passed away. And then their partner was Rico, who I have never heard of.
I did not realize Roman Reigns had a wrestling brother. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me because the Samoan family is very prolific, but
yeah, he is in Hawaii, Rosie, and was a good friend, obviously was like best friends with Roman. I in the documentary that they came out with for Roman, he talks about him a pretty decent amount.
I wonder what Spike Dudley is up to now. You never hear about that guy.
I think he just does signings and appearances at cons and things. He also was, he showed up at the last table match in TNA for like 2 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, this match was fun. It was like a car crash, lots of things happening at once. Spike, as usual, just gets thrown around because he's like 140 pounds wet. And he was eliminated first. He went through a table like face first, which was pretty gnarly. And, Rosie and Jamal are huge Samoans, like each over 300 pounds. So they had their way with Spike pretty quickly.
I feel like this tag team 3 Minute Warning is the most ridiculous looking tag team I've ever seen. So
how so?
You have like a fat guy with a ponytail and a goatee wearing like shorts and a tie-dye baseball shirt next to a skinny guy in sparkly pants with huge black mutton chops. And then this like dreadlock Samoan looking dude with like a black guy's name, Jamal. No Samoan has ever had the name Jamal, I'm pretty sure. And you put them all together, and I'm like, how did these guys even fit? How do these guys even fit together?
It was pretty random pairing.
They make Bubba look fucking small.
They do, which is pretty impressive because Bubba's not a small guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, it was a tables match. So the object of a tables match when it's a 6-man tag is you have to get all 3 of them through the tables. But what was a little bit different about this one from, say, the tables match that we watched at Royal Rumble 2000 was this was an elimination tables match. So once somebody goes through a table, they're just out of the match and they can't participate. So that's why when Spike goes through the table face first, it becomes 3-on-2 for a few minutes and he just leaves.
There's no DQ, but there's an elimination. Like, what makes you really have to leave the match? Why can't you just stay and help?
Yeah, that's very true because, the match progresses. Jeff Hardy hit Rosie with a swanton bomb through a table, like doing his jump off of the concourse thing like he did at the Royal Rumble 2000. And Rosie ends up coming back later in the match, even though he's eliminated. So, you're very right. There were no rules, but there were some rules, but then they didn't really obey the rules except when it was convenient for the match.
Yeah, I thought the rules of this match were clunky and I was kind of confused. I was just like, what is going on? And then Devon comes out. I'm like, wait, Devon wasn't in the Dudley brothers or Dudley boys? And then, oh no, he's not on the right brand. So he's not supposed to be in this match, which I also hate the severity of the brand split on this. I
remember hearing about this from Bubba or Bully on Busted Open. He said that I guess Vince thought that they had done it all and that they were, there was nothing else to do with the Dudleys anymore. So they decided to split them up with the brand split as the reason why.
Yeah.
And obviously you can tell based on the reaction of the crowd when Devon shows up to help Bubba that nobody wanted them to be broken up. The Dudleys are the Dudleys and you want to see them together. You want to see them put people through tables.
Yeah. My brain was like, wait, Devon's not here. I thought he was. I thought I saw the Dudley and then, oh yeah, I guess he wasn't here. Because sometimes in Dudley Boys matches, you're looking at Bubba for a while before you know their Devon tags in or whatever. It's also interesting to hear JR calling for Devon now that we know that, like we mentioned last episode, that Devon has now stated his experiences with racism in JR. So that kind of put a different twist on that for me.
Yeah, I mean, splitting them up was clearly a dumb idea in hindsight.
My exact notes were real dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, the pop was pretty big because it was a surprise. So I doubt that they did all this just to create this moment, but they made a good moment they made chicken salad out of chicken shit, as they like to say in the wrestling biz. So I'll get to the finish. Bubba manages to get Jamal through a table via a powerbomb from the top rope. It's just Rico and Bubba at this point. Jeff, I forget how he got eliminated. I think Jamal hit him with a big splash or something. And so it's Rico versus Bubba, but then Rosie and Jamal come back in to interfere. That's when Devon shows up and helps Bubba. They put Rico through a table with the 3D, and so Jeff Hardy, Bubba Ray, and Spike Dudley win.
And the Wrestling Observer newsletter back then gave that 2 3/4 of a star for
2 3/4. Okay.
13-minute 4-second tables match. And then, speaking of shit, we got Saliva's first performance. Saliva, the rap rock whiskey tango band.
Are they rap though?
Whatever they are, it is so trash. It is so trailer. It is so white trash.
Alt rock. Yeah, I don't know what they are. I want to Google what they are. New metal, post grunge.
Stacy Keibler introduces Saliva with her pants sub-pubic bone, like we've noticed in other episodes. The guitarist in Saliva has his guitar strap around his knees. Some real dork shit. So many goatees. This era, I feel like, is not my era. It makes me feel embarrassed to like wrestling. WWE had plenty of opportunities to get any kind of great music. 2002 was a great year for all kinds of cool music. I mean, you could have had the fucking Strokes or whatever, but you had Saliva. And, sometimes you just drink too much Mountain Dew, and this is what happens,
Mountain Dew's delicious. There's orange juice in there.
I drink Mountain Dew while we do this podcast often. I like my Diet Mountain Dew. It is often referred to as hillbilly piss or Hoosier juice. And
this performance was bad. I'll agree. It didn't do anything for me. I understand at the time that they were popular with the WWE crowd, but yeah, I didn't need to hear always like for 3 hours. That was pretty obnoxious.
It was the entire time. Yeah,
it was always obnoxious.
And this isn't the first performance we'll see from them tonight, but then we get into the second match. Finally, it's the WWE Cruiser Championship. Jamie Noble with Nydia versus Billy Kidman, and Jamie Noble and Nydia are perfect for a Saliva concert.
Yep,
they're very trashy folks and ripped up jeans.
They live in a single wide, according to JR.
Yeah, this is super. This is super trailer so far. This is one of the only singles matches. This is the only men's single match on the entire card. I'm a big fan of singles matches.
No, that's not true. There's one more, but it's just very fast.
Oh,
Big Show and Lesnar.
Oh, there is. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the commentary switches on this one to Michael Cole and Taz.
Yes, cruiserweights exclusively on SmackDown.
Yeah, I can't stand them switching commentary tables. Shit drives me fucking nuts. There's some cool moves though, of course. Cruiserweight matches always have cool moves.
Yeah, I like Kidman. I remember him from WCW. I enjoyed him back then. I think he was part of Raven's group for a while. I don't think that he really amounted to all that much in WWE as a wrestler, but he's still there. Now he's working as a producer / agent, and I think he might be the one that times out the show now. So, he's important and obviously is a very talented dude.
Yeah, Kidman is the challenger. Jamie Noble is the cruiserweight champion in this. And the story behind it is that Kidman beaten Noble twice. So he's challenging for the title. Noble can't beat him. Looks like he's probably going to win. In this match, he does win. And now he's beaten Noble 3 times, which is not a lot of room left for a feud at that point. If you just put someone down 3 times in a row, it's kind of done.
Yeah, I would think so. I thought this one was good. I really enjoyed Kidman's offense. I feel like he's got a very exciting move set. I felt like the match had really good flow. It obviously was not all that different from the last Jamie Noble match that we saw at No Mercy against Tajiri, but I actually felt like this one was a bit smoother.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I liked it. It had a good flow. It increased in intensity as time went on. The moves became bigger and more desperate. And Kidman won with a shooting star press, which is always fun to see when you don't botch it like Lesnar.
Yeah. And Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You guys know who Dave Meltzer is. I don't have to say it every time. Gave this one a full 3 stars, which is pretty high regards from his rating. For his rating system, I think. So
Oh yes.
we got some backstage stuff promos. We got a lot of backstage promos in this the style of this pay-per-view is very heavy on flipping back and forth to these guys and these guys and these commentaries and those commentary tables. And so then we got 2 in a row. We got before the next match, we have a Angle and Benoit promo. They have a weird rapport. It kind of reminds me of how Randy Orton and Riddle related to each other, where they're a tag team. They don't really get along. They're not sure if they like each other. And Kurt Angle is sort of the needy one. And Benoit
And Benoit's the murdery one.
is weary and angry. And Benoit's acting is just so bad. I mean, he's kind of, like we've said a million times, he's a scary dude. He's good in the ring, but I don't think him acting out lines was probably a great spot to be in.
No. And, they won the tag team championships in No Mercy a month prior to this. And I guess since then they had lost them. So they kind of turned on each other when they lost them, and they were having their own little mini feud. And I guess they decided to put that aside for this match that they're going to have later on. I will say, after we got the Angle and Benoit in the back thing, they cut to Chris Jericho for a few seconds. His goatee was the worst thing I've ever seen. He looked like a fucking billy goat. I laughed so hard. I wrote ha 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 in my notes because I was just dying at how horrible it looked.
Goatees are such a weird thing that Gen X was so into. And they still have them, these Gen Xer dudes. They still rock the goatees, but it was a big thing. You're good. Like, I want a beard, but only like in the middle of my face. Weird.
I want a goatee, but I want a beard, but I don't want to have to do very much.
Yeah.
I just want it to be right here.
Yeah. And then I still want to have to shave every day, but also have a beard. I don't get it. So then there's the hidden camera angle of Victoria. And I remember like the internet would have these weird videos that would pop up of hidden camera voyeur, like as if, it'd be fake back then, but it'd be like some porno type shit, from a weird corner high in the ceiling. And somebody, like people on the early internet would kind of be like, oh, you can just watch me live my life with these shitty cameras and corner. They were kind of doing that sort of thing.
It's like a real world thing almost.
In Victoria's dressing room, and she's breaking a bunch of mirrors, and
she's a little cray-cray.
I don't know. They're talking about the next match, which is going to be Trish Stratus versus Victoria, and Jerry Lawler's watching this hidden cam, and they say anything goes. I just hope it's close. So Jerry Lawler's kind of hornballing it up.
Being a perv. Yeah.
And then we got into the third match, which was the WWE Women's Championship. Hardcore rules. Trish Stratus, champion, versus Victoria. You could bring any weapon you wanted into this match, but they chose to have the women, of all the violent things we've seen in WWE, bring a broom.
Yep, there was a broom.
Ironing board.
Yep, pretty bad.
I mean, this shit is pretty fucking insulting. What'd you think of this match?
The video package too, I thought was pretty funny. Like the music was like so intense, and they were trying to paint Victoria as being like mentally unbalanced. I think JR called her a vindictive vixen.
In that video package, they also talked about how they both have pretty little puppies. And I've never heard of breasts being referred to as puppies, I don't think, in my life.
Except for in the WWF.
I hear Jerry Lawler say it a lot. In WWF, WWE, they do this puppies thing. It's so fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, this match, they like you said, variety of different weapons. It was kind of weird. They didn't actually bring any weapons out. They were all in trash cans that were tied to the corners of the ring. So they just picked up whatever was in there and used it. It was not my favorite match. Certainly, I did laugh at one line that Jerry Lawler had, which was offensive but hilarious. The last time Victoria was whistled at was right before a train hit her.
All right, that's pretty good. That's a good one to catch that.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I got to give it to Trish Stratus.
She was a wrestler.
She's a great wrestler, and she has talent. And also, she does look just as good as she did 25 years ago now at age almost 50 years old.
Yeah, which is wild.
Pretty crazy I know she's big into like fitness and yoga instruction and stuff, but yeah, man, I mean, 25 and 50, it doesn't matter. She can still go. She still looks good, but it's still kind of awful to see her in a match where she's forced to like choose between an ironing board and a broom. There was a fire extinguisher though, which eventually was Trish's undoing.
Yes.
Victoria snuck a win with a fire extinguisher shot, and I didn't expect it, but we got a new champion out of it. Victoria beat Trish Stratus.
Yeah, again, a vast improvement from other women's matches that we've seen in years before this, but this was, I actually think the one at No Mercy was much better, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and it was the same, I think it was Trish and Victoria at No Mercy as well, and it just, I don't know, this one just felt like, okay, let's do a hardcore match, but let's not really do a hardcore match. Let's just, use some weapons and let's pick items that are household items so we can kind of, like denigrate the women a little bit and like play up on stereotypes.
Because we're in an era now where we see women just fuck each other up, and there's so much blood in AEW's Blood and Guts match with 5-on-5 on the women, or was it 6-on-6? I don't know, but
yeah, 6-on-6.
And we obviously in WWE side we see
just like technical mastery with the women, like
just amazing wrestlers. Yeah,
and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and Asuka. Yeah, I mean,
and these girls are real wrestlers that could hang today. Trish still does, but
they just weren't given the time, and they it just, I'm glad that it's not like this anymore.
2 stars.
Oh, 2 stars? Yeah, that tracks. Coach was in the back talking to Bischoff and Big Show, or Bischoff first, and then Big Show came up and talked some shit to Bischoff. And if you remember from No Mercy, they were having a little spat backstage too, I guess. Big Show was on Raw and has since jumped to SmackDown, and that has allowed him to challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. We see Lesnar in the back with Heyman. Heyman is nervous. He's saying that things haven't been the same since the Hell in a Cell last month against The Undertaker. He's very worried for Lesnar because Big Show is so big and strong.
Right.
We got a package leading up to it, and then we had Brock Lesnar versus Big Show for the championship.
I actually think that the package did kind of a good job making me want to see Lesnar. Big Show has been around so long, and he hasn't really had any impressive matches in a while. I mean, he's in AEW nowadays, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't wrestle anymore, I don't think.
And when he did, there was just really not a whole lot to write. He's not really he wasn't an attraction at the end of his career. Like Brock Lesnar is still an attraction today. So I was kind of feeling like, well, Big Show, Lesnar, who cares? And then the package kind of made me, with Lesnar and everything, kind of made me like excited. Maybe. Yeah,
it set him up as the baby face.
Right. Lesnar's a big ass guy, but he's going to meet his match against this giant. So yeah, but then he got into the match and it wasn't much there, but
yeah, I mean, like I said, Lesnar is definitely a baby face by this point. The crowd is very much behind him. And they did do a good job of setting it up as this was the biggest obstacle that Lesnar has had to overcome yet. It was a very short match, but I gotta say, I did love how easily it seemed like Lesnar was just chucking the Big Show around. I mean, we always know that Lesnar is strong, but he gave him a German suplex that like was very surprising, got a huge pop. gave him a belly to belly, got a huge pop, and then he got him up for an F5, which looked really, really smooth.
Yeah, and the crowd is super behind Lesnar, and Lesnar is suffering broken ribs because he was
thrown off the stage a few weeks ago
by the Big Show. So Lesnar had his out, but Paul Heyman swerved Lesnar. Supposed to be his, I don't know what he is, the manager, I guess.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is his client, as he always says.
Right. And there was a referee bump, so the ref was knocked out. That's when Lesnar hit the F5. When the new ref comes out and starts to count, Heyman interferes and pulls the ref away. He interferes on behalf of the Big Show and, turns on Lesnar. So was definitely not surprising in the grand scheme of Paul Heyman's career of wrestling, but I'm sure at the time people didn't think that was going to happen. So Big Show hit him with a chair, hit Lesnar with a chair, and then choke slammed him onto a chair. And then that was all she wrote. That was Lesnar's first loss.
Lesnar's first loss. Wow.
Yeah.
In kayfabe, I think you're a dumbass if you think
that Paul
Heyman's going to swerve you. I mean, he did it. Yeah. Did it to Roman in the favor of Lesnar, and Roman took him back, I think, for a little while after that. Yeah.
He's done it to Punk. He's done it to everyone. That's his shtick.
So it's kind of hard in story for me to see why anyone would. He did it to Rollins recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Heyman's not really a snake in the grass.
Snake. No, he's just a snake, period.
He's just a snake that's been out for a while, for decades, just hanging out.
Yeah. And, it was a 4-minute match, so it was kind of disappointing, but it was definitely shocking, I'm sure, for the time. What was the star rating?
2.
That tracks.
2 stars for the sort of a squashes-ish match.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping the next one got a better rating because I thought this one was pretty fun. This was a triple threat elimination tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Match of the night.
Yes,
probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rey Mysterio and Edge, who we saw at No Mercy against Benoit and Angle. They're now the tag champs. Other tag team is Benoit and Angle. And then the third tag team is the Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo. There's a lot of talented people in this match.
A lot.
I mean, I loved it, quite frankly, because, I mean, how can you not with these 6 guys? They're all so good. And I actually read online that these men were nicknamed the SmackDown Six. And it was like a thing during this beginning part of the Ruthless Aggression era. They would always be on SmackDown because of how good they were, how technical their matches were.
I was thinking about this as the Ruthless Aggression era in general has an incredible roster. There's just a lot of really great wrestlers.
Yeah, like in ring, great.
I don't think the promos, the vibe, the writing, the creative, I don't really love a lot of that stuff. But the people they have in the ring are amazing, like legends, just left and right. And I was wondering, like, is this the mid card for this era? Because you put 6 of them together, this is one hell of a fucking mid card, right? Because nowadays you'd have, I don't know, like Ivan and Eric, the Viking fuckers or whatever, This is like crazy good for a mid card if that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
I guess it kind of is. Yeah, I mean, they're not necessarily. Well, at this time, they're not really going for world championships. I'm pretty sure Mysterio ends up winning a championship pretty soon. Eddie wins a championship pretty soon. Benoit. I think they all do end up winning world championships like in the next few years.
Right, but this is kind of your mid card right now.
Yeah. It's wild for a mid card. It's nuts. This was definitely my favorite match. We had a lot of back and forth. I mean, what can you say about all these guys? They're so good. I didn't write any specific things down except for there was a classic Guerrero moment where Chavo grabbed one of the tag belts and he hit Benoit, and Benoit was like in a submission with somebody. He was doing the submission to somebody. Chavo hits him with the belt, and then Chavo throws the belt into Angle's hands, and Benoit thinks that it's him. So it reignites their frustration with one another. And Edge spears Benoit like right after this disagreement and then eliminates them. So they, shove each other as they go off into the back. And then it's Edge and Mysterio versus the Guerreros for a while. And I thought it was super fun. Always fun to see Eddie and Ray together again, especially after that amazing match at Halloween Havoc. I was pretty surprised by the end. The Guerreros won via submission. And so I'm pretty sure, there were 4 title changes at this pay-per-view. Every title match had a new champ.
It's pretty crazy. I guess this is elimination because it's Survivor Series, but it still feels overbooked. It feels like too much. You have 3 teams, but you can only have 2 in there at a time. And
yeah, I wish they just had let like 3 people fight at once.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's got the right people and it's got the right moves and stuff. But when I'm trying to follow it, I'm like, huh? Maybe because I like to smoke weed and watch wrestling, but I'm like, this is too much. Just put a couple, like put them all in there, or don't tell me like, all right, you'll get 2-on-2 after one team gets pinned. But that's just nitpicking. It was cool though, and Meltzer really fucking loved it. He gave it almost 5 stars. He gave it 4.25, which
nice.
is high praise. And
yeah, I mean, it was really good. There's like we said, like I guess the weakest link in here is Chavo, but Chavo's still really good.
Yeah, you're right. Chavo's the smallest name on the card here, but
he's got a ton of experience. He's like a producer now, and I'm pretty sure he worked with he works like on the movies now. Whenever they do wrestling movies, he's like the producer that they bring in to like help make the wrestling look real. So like he knows what he's doing. They all knew what they were doing. And fun match. I'm glad that Papa Meltzer recognized it for what it was.
Yeah, and we got another Papa coming up pretty soon, but we had Matt Hardy and Christopher Nowinski.
Yeah,
segment.
Do you know about Nowinski?
No, he's like a Harvard character who's a real smug and more intelligent. No, wait, is that what I'm thinking? The right thing?
No, you are, but I was actually referring to the fact that he's much more well known now outside of wrestling. He co-founded the Concussion Legacy Foundation. He has a PhD in neuroscience, and he's like a very important person when it came to researching concussions and CTE.
Whoa, I didn't know that because his character is I'm the only Harvard graduate in this entire building.
Yes, that is what his character was.
New Yorkers are stupid. And then Matt Hardy comes out. First of all, Matt Hardy comes out to a graphic on the screen that says, Matt Hardy only drinks low-fat chocolate milk.
Yeah, it was a Matt fact.
The fuck is that? Does it mean he doesn't drink water? He only drinks chocolate milk?
That's what that's what I thought when I read it. I was like, oh.
Or does it mean he only drinks...
When he drinks milk, he only drinks...
low fat when he drinks milk. It seemed like he only... I'm imagining him like after a match just being like... with like a huge chocolate milk.
I know. Yeah, that's... So, yeah, that stuff is pretty funny. I mean, it's always been funny, and he did that even in AEW. He did it in TNA when he was broken Matt Hardy. Like, he called them Matt Facts.
Okay.
And they're always like ridiculous things, so... It's funny to see the beginning of it here.
So Matt comes out. He has a beef to pick with Christopher that New Yorkers are not stupid. They're losers.
Yep.
And so there's an argument over whether New Yorkers are stupid or losers. And they eventually decide they're both. And it feels kind of like a SmackDown segment, not really like a pay-per-view thing, but it happened. And then Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, shows up, clears the ring, and Madison Square Garden pops probably bigger than they had for anything that entire night until maybe the very end.
Yeah, that was his return to the WWE. He didn't immediately come over once WCW had been purchased.
Gotta take that free money sitting at home for a few years first.
Yeah, and gotta take more steroids. Like, my God, the steroids that man took.
I mean, he's so
unbelievable. Yeah.
I can't believe he's still alive. It is crazy.
He was very large.
And his late WWE run didn't go anywhere from my understanding, but this moment was a big moment.
Yeah, this was this was arguably the biggest moment of the whole WWE run. He was
Right.
definitely much bigger in WCW, and then I think he was in TNA for a hot minute too, and doing the chainmail thing. Dude, cracks me up. Have you ever heard the story of him, how he found it?
No, how did that work?
I can't remember exactly, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I was just like in a flea market or at a Renaissance fair or a thrift shop," and he's like, "I saw it, and I was like, this is tight," and they
Yeah.
bought it and they just started wearing it.
I mean, if I ever see anyone with something like that, that's instantly who I think about.
Yeah.
It's very, I guess iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, Impact, even though he hadn't been there for a long time, we're still using that as their thumbnail when you flip through the channels. Oh, Impact's on, and would have a picture of Papa Pump with the chainmail, because that's where he started doing that, right? I mean, it wasn't.
No, I think it was WCW.
Oh, was it? He just
But
carried it
he,
on. Yeah.
well, yeah, he carried it on from WCW to WWE, and then I think he was only in WWE for like 2 years or something, and then he went to TNA or Impact, whichever it was.
Oh, TNA was after. Okay, right.
Yeah,
I got my
yeah.
timeline wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, because he went over around the same time that Angle went over to TNA, and that was when you had Bischoff and Hogan and
Right.
all those other people. Sting went over there too. Yeah.
But before we get too much further into the Elimination Chamber, we get an Elimination Chamber video package with another live Saliva performance where they play another entire song.
Yeah, and they played Always before the live performance too. It was exhausting.
This is when I was like, this is when I kind of made up my mind on the rating for this pay-per-view. I was like, in good conscience, there's only one decision to make. Triple H does a promo, and he's the heavyweight champion, and I guess he's always supposed to be smug. I feel like Triple H still talks the way he did back then, though, and he's supposed to be like a cool guy now or something. But man, I just hate him so much. He's such a prick the way he talks. And I feel like I don't know if he wants to be that way or if he's just a natural heel, but I feel like
think he is.
I just see right into how shitty his soul is when he speaks. And I guess it's good. I mean, it makes me hate him, and you got to make people hate people if you want to make them love the people that beat him. So
yeah, and this was a period of time where he was still getting cheered, but he was hated. He was feuding with Shawn Michaels, who had come back to the WWE recently after like 4 years away. He had that back injury from the casket match with Undertaker at the Royal Rumble in '98. Shawn had come back recently. He was betrayed by Triple H, who hit him with a sledgehammer in the back, and they had a street fight that I actually remember really well as being an excellent match at SummerSlam 2002. Yeah, Jericho was accompanied by Saliva playing the music at the World. That's what
Jericho's music is kind of like Saliva-esque.
I know, but see the Break the Walls Down thing. You're just talking about his Fozzy music.
His Fozzy music, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But Jericho's goatee, it turned into a braid. Don't worry, people.
God, yeah. He's got the hair of the event. Usually it's someone's mullet, but this time it was his facial hair.
His goatee, yeah. So this was as we said earlier, this is the first Elimination Chamber ever. Eric Bischoff came out and talked about how amazingly smart he was, that he created this horrible, environment where everyone's going to be destroyed by the steel and the chain.
Did you notice that Eric Bischoff came out to not Eric Bischoff's music, but he came out to that terrible Undertaker song that I brought attention to a week or two ago? He came out.
Is that what it was?
To you're gonna pay, always kicking assholes ass. Yeah, he came out to it because it says, "I'm back.
I'm the man." Yeah,
and I'm better than ever. And I guess his real song is "I'm Back." So I guess they couldn't on Peacock. They couldn't get the rights, so they put on that terrible song. And also Eric Bischoff did, to my understanding, did not invent the Elimination Chamber. This was in kayfabe only.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. I looked it up. Triple H was actually the one that came up with the idea. In reality, they just did the Bischoff thing in storyline.
Wrestling loves to create new ways to say cage match. It's a bigger cage. We got a bunch of people in there. It's a war games. It's a blood and guts. It's a fucking, I don't know. There's a lot of things, but really it's just a huge looking crazy roundish cage.
Yeah,
It's cool, I guess. Whatever.
I think for the time, it being a brand new thing, I'm sure people were probably impressed by it. It certainly looks very intimidating. There were 6 people in this match. It was Rob Van Dam, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Booker T, and Chris Jericho. So the way that an Elimination Chamber works, there are 4 plexiglass pods on the outer edges of the cage, and 2 people start inside the ring, and every 5 minutes, somebody at random comes out of one of the pods. The thing that I liked right off the bat is that they actually started using the cage as a weapon. You know, they were driving people into the chain and smacking people into the plexiglass. RVD was doing his signature dangerous high-flying shit, and Triple H starts bleeding with less than 5 minutes, you know, having passed through the match. And it kind of just, you know, nothing super exciting, but they continue to, you know, fight one another. Jericho comes out next, then Booker T. Van Dam did a splash from on top of one of the pods, which I'm sure for the time was like super crazy. No one had ever seen something that ridiculous except for like maybe Mick Foley getting thrown off the cell. So that got a huge pop. And of course, now we see it all the time. Everyone's doing crazy shit in an Elimination Chamber any chance they get. So for me, it's like, oh, but not like, whoa, holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Van Dam got eliminated like right after that. I guess he kind of hurt himself, and then Booker T eliminated him with a pin. Triple H was taking a nap for most of this match, just hanging out in the corner. And then, big man Kane comes out. He dominated for a bit, which makes sense. He's the biggest guy in the match. He's hitting people with big punches. He's doing choke slams. One of the big moments of this match that I remember seeing over and over again throughout time is Jericho getting thrown through the plexiglass by Kane.
Yeah.
And I just remember the first time I saw it, like, holy shit, they just said that was bulletproof. Like, how did he throw him through that? And like the sound that it made, it sounded like a bullet, you know, like a gunshot.
Yeah.
Crowd was like, whoa, holy shit.
I'm so used to seeing people go through like planes of glass that it's kind of tame by today's standards, but I could see how that at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we see this every year now in an Elimination Chamber. Somebody goes through the plexiglass. But if you can think about like the first time, like you don't know what any of this stuff is. You don't know what the actual materials are. So like the way that it broke, it was super intense.
I feel like Shawn Michaels had a bob haircut, and this happens.
He did have a bob.
When a guy with long hair goes to a salon every once in a while, instead of breaking it up and making it look layered. That's what I do for a living. Hair.
He's got the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory haircut.
Yeah, it's
Willy Wonka.
So bad. And I think a lot of dudes, when they end up with a bob, it takes them a while to even realize what's happened. I mean, just as AJ Styles, he was walking around with a bob for a good 5 years, I think, before he figured it out. And Shawn Michaels has brown tights, which for whatever reason, it's just a real bad look. Unless you're like He-Man from Masters of the Universe or something, like brown tights and a bob. That's what he looked like, fucking He-Man. If for all of y'all that are in your, that are of the age to know that, he's back and he's good and he's the man. And I'm wearing his T-shirt right now. But this is the worst look I've ever seen Shawn Michaels come out with.
Yeah. It's funny because I can't remember if he had this haircut for the street fight in SummerSlam, but SummerSlam, he just wore jeans and cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Which was also something that you would never see him wear beforehand. So
that's like his kind of, I guess, his gimmick at heart was, I'm kind of like a cowboy, right? He like wears the cowboy Texas, hat these days and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Texas, but I've been billed as being from Scottsdale or some shit for my whole life.
Is that what? No,
I
thought he was from Texas.
No, he's from Phoenix, and he says he's from San Antonio.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yeah.
So, yes, after Jericho gets thrown through the plexiglass, he hits Booker T with a low blow a few minutes later. Booker T gets chokeslammed. Jericho hits him with a lion salt. Booker T is out of there. Finally, Shawn comes out. He's the last one to come out of his little
capsule
pod. Yeah, his capsule. And Kane just chokeslams everyone, but then gets a super kick for his troubles and a pedigree and a lion salt, and then Kane's gone. So now it's Triple H, Chris Jericho, and Shawn Michaels.
This is when it gets good, I think, when there's only 3.
This is when it gets very good. Yeah, Triple H and Jericho are both heels. They decide to team up. It definitely starts getting intense. I think they throw Shawn through the plexiglass and he gets busted open, and they're really just beating the shit out of him. And Shawn is the baby face of the match. Everybody wants him to win. There are HBK chants for most of the time that he's out and wrestling. Eventually, Jericho and Triple H have a disagreement and they start fighting, and then Jericho gets pedigreed and he's out. Or maybe Shawn gets him out. I can't remember. But Triple H and Shawn as the last two is fantastic. I mean, what can you say? It's not like it's not obvious that these two would be the final ones and that they would have the most exciting portion of the match because they had all this history and story building up to this moment.
There's a lot of blood at this point.
Yeah, a lot of blood. And HBK does an elbow from the top of one of the pods, which is pretty nuts too. I mean, it's just a terrific end to the match. You know, it's 39 minutes. It's a long match, and it definitely felt long at times. But by this point, I'm just super into it because I love both of these guys. I always loved Shawn Michaels.
You know, at the 1 hour left mark, when on the screen it said there was only an hour left, there was only promos in this match. So there was 20 minutes of like Saliva and like promos, and then a 40-minute match
and entrances
and then explaining the whole thing and the end. So yeah, it was a lot, but the end almost saved it. I mean, it was really good at the very end for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this ending is very famous too. People still talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, Michaels hits Triple H with the sweet chin music, pins him. He's back. He's the world heavyweight champion. You got confetti everywhere in that elimination chamber and around. It looked great. It was cool.
It's like one of the biggest pops like of all time. I think maybe. It definitely was not expected at the time, I think, with him having come back so soon. Yeah, I love the ending to this match. I've definitely seen this match before. I don't know if I've seen this whole pay-per-view before, but this match definitely was familiar to me. And I think Shawn Michaels being as good as he was and me appreciating him as much as I have, that's probably why I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen all of his like top ranked matches. So
it's definitely when you watch like Shawn Michaels documentaries and they're talking about him coming back from injury and drugs and this and that, like something that they put on the screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause I think he was a born again by this point and had finally given up all the bad stuff, which is good. That was the thing. Like when you learn all these things, you're like, oh man, I didn't know he was having such a tough time. Like, it's good that he figured it out and he came back. And what's crazy to me still to this day is like, from this point until he retired, I think honestly might be better than the vast majority of what he did before. I mean, DX obviously was groundbreaking for how lewd and raunchy it was. But if we're just talking about promos, storylines, and in-ring work, like this stuff from 2002 until he retired is absolutely as good as his stuff from the 90s, if not better, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, Aaron, this was your call. This was your choice. This was your pay-per-view that you had us watch. Why don't you go ahead and give us our rating system? Is it fast forward, play, or rewind? For those of you who don't know, fast forward being boo, play being yay, rewind being double yay.
Before I do, I want to hear what Meltzer gave that match.
He gave it a 4 1/4 star. I think matching the other match we said was the best match of the night.
Yeah, okay. That feels legit. All right, so my rating, you definitely can't give this pay-per-view a rewind because, I mean, honestly, I liked most of the matches. The women's match I could have done without. I did not love how short the Big Show Lesnar match was, but everything else, I really didn't mind. I'm going to give it a play because the triple threat elimination tag match, as we said, incredible cast of wrestlers doing their best work. And although the rules of the match and the book, like the the psychology of the match wasn't necessarily the greatest. Like, I think the work inside of the match made up for that. And then despite Elimination Chamber matches being long and clunky and having 6 people, I think that because this was the first one, there was just some excitement and something different about it. And I love Shawn Michaels. So yeah, I'm going to give it a play. I think I know where you're going to go though.
All right, so my rating, I'm definitely realizing that I'm kind of a traditionalist. I'm a singles match guy. I feel like that's when the storytelling is best. There were only a few singles matches on this show, and they weren't very good. Well, the cruiserweight one was all right, but there were really great wrestlers on this card, and I did enjoy moments. And when I was watching this, I was kind of thinking like, maybe the Elimination Chamber can save it. And it got close to saving it for me. But I don't like Elimination Chamber generally. I just don't want to see all that. I don't really know how they're picking who these people are. Like in Royal Rumble, they draw numbers. It's not fair for the last guy to come out and win. Like, it's just the creative behind it doesn't have a lot of logic for me. Would have loved to see Shawn Michaels come out and just fight Triple H instead. It's just a lot of trailer park sort of wrestling stuff, and there was too many Saliva performances, and I thought, I can't in good conscience give something with 2 live Saliva conscious live performances anything other than fast forward. So I don't want to diminish. You should watch that Elimination Chamber match. I don't think there's anything else you really need to watch. The one with Edge and Mysterio and all that stuff was cool, but you can see that a lot in this era.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of filler going on here. So
yeah, this was my era. I started watching in the Attitude Era, but Ruthless Aggression, or at least the beginning of it, was when I was the biggest fan as a youngster. And, funny enough, as soon as Cena started becoming a part, like 06,
yeah,
is when I was like, yeah, I'm out.
I always like to watch wrestling, and it's always fun doing this regardless. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go fast forward on this particular pay-per-view. And we always love to hear from you out there, the Grapple Gang. You can always call us 626-657-SLAM.
Pick up the phone.
That'll lead you to our Google voicemail, where you can drop us a line, drop us a promo, cut a promo on Aaron, cut a promo on me. Tell us what you agreed or disagreed with us about on our previous episodes. Or you can always reach out to us. We are on social media, across social media, at Grapple City Pod. We're also grapplecitypod@gmail.com if you'd like to send us an email. I'm not going to play a voicemail today because we are running pretty over, but let's see. I have some messages from us on TikTok. Birdcamp 2K17 wanted us to know that Ray versus Eddie is not the best match of all time. Bret Hart versus Perfect 93. SummerSlam 93 is the best match of all time. I don't know. Do I know that one? I have to have seen that one.
I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember it. We should watch that at some point.
Yeah. Caddy on TikTok has written us before, but says in regards to Married with Children and King Kong Bundy, Al Bundy being named after King Kong Bundy, he wanted to point out to us that the neighbors were called the Rhodes, which is crazy. They were all over this wrestling shit.
That's funny.
Married with Children. Let's see. And Brian Clatterbuck on TikTok says Eddie versus Ray was not the best match of all time. Mania 25, HBK Taker.
It's pretty good.
Any Flair versus Steamboat, or Mania 10, HBK Razor Ramon. I think that's the latter match, right?
It is, yeah. That's a very good match.
Are all above Ray and Eddie, but it was a great match.
I don't disagree. Everything he listed is pretty fucking solid.
I don't disagree. I mean, I'm excited that people are telling us, the other contenders for greatest match of all time, because I mean, it's so subjective, but I do kind of want to get a grasp for these. So when they come, I know we're going to get to all of them.
Yeah.
I can be ready for it. So we're getting to the end here. This was your call, Aaron, for this pay-per-view. I'm going to make the call for next week. I'm going to stick with a November pay-per-view. But I think I need a little bit of a palate cleanser. I need to get out of Survivor Series. I need to get out of WWE, get out of WWF. I want to go back to the NWA, Crockett Productions stuff. I want to go back 40 entire years to Starrcade 85, The Gathering.
Oh, wow.
Which took place at 2 venues somehow at once. The Greensboro Coliseum, where I believe AEW was recently, and the Omni Coliseum in Atlanta, Georgia. So you have Magna TA versus Tully Blanchard in an I Quit steel cage match for the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship, which I hear some people say is of the best matches that have happened. And then you have the Rock and Roll Express and Ivan and Nikita Koloff in a steel cage match for the NWA World Tag Team Championship. You have Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. I mean, that's amazing. That's a good match right there. NWA World Heavyweight Championship. You got 2 Texas Bull Rope matches. You've got the Barbarian versus Superstar Billy Graham. You've got an Abdullah the Butcher Mexican death match versus Manny Fernandez. There's like some pretty cool shit on here that I'm feeling hopeful about. And I'm sure I put this on at the house before, but I've never watched it attentively. So Rock and Roll Express is in there somewhere. Jim Cornette's going to be in there. Midnight Express is in there somewhere. So that's what we will watch for next week. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, for talking some wrestling, listening to our ridiculous takes on facial hair and haircuts
and new metal bands.
And new metal. Don't forget to call that number, 626-657-SLAM. Let us know your thoughts. We want to hear from you guys, and we will see you soon.
Catch you in the cheap seats. Adios.